Sometimes what one considers a failure only needs a few adjustments to become a tremendous success. In the latest era of Battletech, this is no different than it has been historically across all of humanity's collective experience. It is also ironic that one side simply didn't see what they truly had, while the other side saw the endless potential of what it could be, with the Lyran Commonwealth's industries finding no use for such a war machine, while the Free Worlds League's manufacturers saw it for what it was. This less-than-domestic design is a staple of the Free Worlds League's military now, in the brutal battles of the Ilclan era. So, let us look at Kallon Industries' graceful killer, the Heiress. A medium mech weighing in at 50 tons, the Eris is a Battlemech which is mostly deployed by the new Free Worlds League, and prior by the warring component states during its elongated, disrupted state after the breakup of the original Free Worlds League. Despite it being a staple of the latter era of the League's military, this Battlemech was not originally developed for it, or by it, and instead was originally produced by a company from its longtime rival, the Lyran Commonwealth, or House Steiner. The HL-1 Hell was designed and built by Nishan Diversified, which is one of the largest industrial and non-military mech manufacturers in the Inner Sphere, renowned for making a wide array of vehicles, but also industrial, agricultural, and other work mechs. Nishan tried their hand at making a battle-ready and powerful war machine for the Lyran Commonwealth's armed forces. This was a bold play by the company, which otherwise made huge gains in other fields, but had always missed out on many of the lucrative contracts that many of their competitors would acquire through the military. A 50-ton Battlemech was designed, with care, for their would-be primary client. Some components would need to be supplied by Defiance Industries in order to make this complex machine. Unfortunately for Nishan, the Lyran state displayed no interest in procuring the Battlemech they'd made, for the reasons of being simply unimpressed with what the Hell was bringing to the table, but also because their own budgets had been reduced after the Blakest assault on the Inner Sphere and the treaties related to cooperation with the Republic. This would mean that only a few of these mechs could find purchase with mercenaries, and with the states of the former Free Worlds League. The impression given to the latter states was clearly better than with their Steiner counterparts, and would be more than a little noteworthy. Seeing their military procurement plans struggling, and seeing Nishan's bid falling apart, Defiance, not wanting another competitor in the military space, cut off supplies of additional components, in essence killing the fledgling and poorly executed attempt in one fell swoop. The Hell seemed destined for the dustbin of history, with only a few machines sold and nothing of note coming from it. Nishan, knowing it now had nowhere to go, approached Kallon Weapon Industries about selling the design to them. Most of any clients of note came from the former Free Worlds League, and so Kallon's domestic markets could in theory be served by using this mech. Kallon would take the deal, acquiring the rights to the design and any proprietary technologies involving it, as Nishan left the space, leaving this failed Steiner-oriented design in the former Free Worlds League. Kallon was an experienced mech manufacturer, as well as the company which had inherited the legendary Wolverine, Crusader, Rifleman, and Shadowhawk within the Free Worlds League. The manufacturer, knowing their market, and having seen the Hell be adopted by several former Free Worlds League states, opted to redesign the Battlemech to better suit its clients. The Hell was turned into a dedicated skirmisher, designed for low-intensity conflicts which persisted throughout the League, and was built to cause chaos in real time in enemy formations. It was rebranded to the Eris because of this, the name reflecting the chaos it was meant to sow in enemy lines and states. It would be a successful venture both in its sales and in its development during this time. For Kallon too, it would be a hidden savior, as production was set to be done on the World of Loyalty, rather than its immense facilities on Thermopolis. This meant that with the loss of one of the Free Worlds League's premier manufacturing planets, Thermopolis itself, and one of Kallon's primary assets, the Heiress would continue to be produced in spite of it, and it was able to continue to be sold because it was manufactured on loyalty. In fact, to make up for many of the lost medium mech designs from Thermopolis due to the clan invasion into the League's planets, it meant that additional variants of the mech were demanded, and as a result the Hell was given a new lease on life as the Eris-2H, which was a Kallon resurrection of the original design, as it falls in line as a striker more so than a skirmisher. Interestingly enough, after the loss of Thermopolis, its clients would transform once more into the Free Worlds League, as the disputes between the provinces, barring Endurian as of the making of this video, ceased due to the threat from the clans and House Steiner. In my view, the Eris represents the Free Worlds League's latest generation of medium mechs in many ways going forward. An impressive design, regardless of its origins, which covers a variety of tasks and is durable, reliable, fast, and is plentifully available to the army. Anyone who thinks they are prepared to face off against the League will find themselves instead embroiled in the chaos which the Heiress will unleash upon them in battle, or in their supply lines. Even better yet is the possibility of multiple variations of these models working together, creating a true terror on the battlefield. The ERS-2N Eris was designed with the idea in mind that it could be a moderately fast skirmisher with unmatched mobility. A series of choices had to be made to achieve this, including the addition of one of the few inner sphere partial wing systems. For its primary attributes, the Eris has a 2.5-ton endosteel frame to save weight, though at the expense of onboard critical slots and cost. This is still one of the least invasive ways to save tonnage for lighter mechs, and was a great option for the Eris's overall design. Its communication system is the Garrett T-20-C, and its targeting system is the Garrett A6. Neither of these confer any bonuses to the Eris in terms of quirks or in-game functions. It utilizes a standard gyro on board, as well as a standard cockpit. For onboard quirks, interestingly, the Eris as of the making of this video has no immediately visible quirks in any of the rules that I'm aware of. Despite this, it does not detract from the lethality of this Battlemech in any way. The Heiress doesn't need quirks to pummel its adversaries using its mobility, especially with a talented pilot. The greatest single strength of the Heiress comes from its movement overall, which when combined with other attributes, makes it one of the most dangerous competitors on the battlefield. To start with, the Heiress comes with a 6.5-ton Hermes 250 XL engine, which gives it a maximum speed of 86 km per hour, or 8 movement points in the tabletop game. This is an average speed for medium mechs during most of the time of the game, and might lean towards being slightly below average by the Ilclan era, but this is not where the strength of the Heiress comes from. It comes equipped, more importantly, with 5 Chilton 360 jump jets, which would normally allow it to leap up to 150 meters, which is respectable for a mech of its weight. What changes everything is that the Eris is a medium mech outfitted with a partial wing system. One may ask, what is a partial wing system? The partial wing, for medium mechs, gives it the ability to leap an extra 2 hexes while in normal atmospheric conditions, or 60 meters. This means that the Eris can leap a total of 210 meters under most conditions, or 7 movement points. For those familiar with the game and how movement modifiers work within it, this is extremely potent, because it means the Eris can leap and bound enough to earn an additional hit modifier, which makes it much more difficult of a target to hit, and it can leap almost as fast as it can move at a full run. This means it can consistently be protected by a layer of additional defense, or it can leap past obstacles into cover. So despite having an XL engine, the Eris is immensely survivable, and can potentially out-skirmish or outbrawl just about any mech that it comes into contact with, in a lethal, close-quarters duel. Unable to invest much tonnage into heatsinks, the Eris invests a total of 0 tons into them, and utilizes double heatsinks. This means it has a base of 10 heat sinks, which gives it 20 overall ability to sink heat due to their doubled nature. However, there is another gift from the partial wing system, which is namely the fact that in atmosphere, it helps the mech disperse an additional 3 points of heat, meaning that the Heiress under most conditions will actually sink 23 heat, rather than 20. The Heiress is built with a degree of multi-range capability in mind. To start with, in its side torsos, it installs a duo of MML-5 launchers, or, more specifically, a pair of Holly 5-tube multi-missile launchers. This launcher, in theory, gives the Eris the ability to launch LRMs or SRMs, and has 2 tons of ammunition overall to do this. But ideally, with the way the Eris is built, and as a skirmisher, it more often than not should benefit from SRMs over LRMs, but it does depend on how the mech is used. Still, if the ammunition is divided evenly, it will typically have 24 shots in total to use as LRMs, and 20 shots if these are used as SRMs. If the pilot doubles down on one missile type over the other, it will either have 48 rounds of LRMs or 40 rounds of SRMs. To give the Eris a harder punching weapon, in order to breach armor on enemy targets before it blasts them with missiles, the Eris is also equipped with a respectable Fusagon Smart Tooth Snub-Nosed PPC in its right arm. This 6-ton cannon has no minimum range, unlike many other Inner Sphere PPCs, but its range is slightly shorter. It's a great asset for the Eris to have, as it's not ammunition dependent and can fire consistently. It pairs well with its MML launchers as well, as every time it blasts open a target, there is a chance its missiles can find opened armor to make critical hits. Finally, for the last of this ever-dangerous payload, the 2N comes equipped with 3 diverse optics small X-pulse lasers. These weapons can score dangerous, accurate hits on lighter targets if they get too close, or can shred infantry and battle armor, which is trying to disrupt the Eris while it is otherwise engaged. 2 are installed in its left arm, and a third and final one is within its head. The Eris's firepower is balanced for medium and close-range engagements. Every single system complements the others or the mech's overall performance in some way. While heavy and assault mechs may be more armed, they may not be more effectively armed for their size, and definitely don't have the Eris's main advantages. The Eris has a reasonable offering on display in regards to its defense for its weight and era, despite not having the full range of available protection for its time. To start with, both of its ammunition sets are protected by a Case 2 system, which means should a catastrophic ammunition explosion take place, the mech will be saved from immediate destruction more than likely. Next, as an important point, the Eris has its jump ability as a major point of its defense, and this can't be discounted. But finally, and more importantly, it comes with 10 full tons of standard plating, giving it an armor point value of 160. While this is certainly not unimpressive for the latter eras of these conflicts, when it's competing with Clan Ferrovibrous, hardened armor, ferrolamellar armor, and advanced ballistic reactive armor, it may leave something to be desired in terms of its overall raw protection quality. Though make no mistake, it is by no means a pushover for its weight, it's just not supremely guarded for its time. The ERS-2N Eris is a fantastic war machine when it appears. It is maneuverable, and with a purpose-driven weapons package, it can deliver the promise of either a medium brawler or an exceptional skirmisher at almost every level. Its wings give it a true advantage in this respect, and any commander who feels having to deal with its potentially constant +4 maneuvering movement penalty is no problem, may be forgetting just how hard that target may be to hit, or even at what ranges these shots are going to have to be made. Overall, I feel the mech is superbly designed, without breaking the game. The best thing about the Eris is that it knows what it wants to be. Are there better medium mech platforms? At certain tasks, certainly. But for a 50-tonner, I'd argue that this mech is hard to compete with where it is poised to be. It is truly like an advancement of the idea of the Wolverines of old. but given a new chassis, new technology, and a sharp, ruthless new look. It is a brutal fighter, and one to be feared on the battlefield. Funnily enough, for a mech which is so new, it is not without variants, and notably two of them, which are both wildly different from the core model. Each one truly changes the Heiress in major fundamental ways, and in one case, it almost seems to have become true madness itself. With the fall of Thermopolis as mentioned prior, Kallon would begin returning the original Hell model to service as the ERS-2H, and it is a radical departure from the 2N. Firstly, it does not possess the wings the 2N is known for, though it does retain its normal complement of jump jets, reducing its jumping capacity to 150 meters. Its heatsinks are increased due to its heavier weaponry and expectation of usage, going from 10 to 14, giving it 28 sinking ability overall. Armor values are also kept the same as before. The biggest change is removing all of the MML missile systems on board, and with both being replaced with a single SRM-6 streak in the left torso, with 1 ton of ammunition. Next, all of the small X-pulse lasers are removed in favor of twin ER medium lasers, both of which are mounted in the left arm. The truest and most visible change is the replacement of the snub-nosed PPC with a devastating heavy PPC, giving it the ability to strike for 50% more damage at a longer range, and the potential of instantly knocking out an enemy mech with a headshot. This makes the mech very different overall. It's much less of a harasser and brawler, and much more of a, well, striker. It hits harder, but is less able to maneuver. It also has a better overall range, but can't deal with infantry or battle armor as easily. Overall, it is less survivable due to having a shorter jump distance, but these kind of things are trade-offs which are made when making a mech with an entirely different purpose. It is a dangerous medium mech, and one which is hard to ignore, especially with its cannon mounted in the right arm. There is something deeply disturbing about the ESR-3R, and it's simply because it's an utterly insane battlemech, built with an utterly insane principle. I'm honestly not even sure how to describe this without sounding like I'm out of my mind. It possesses an Angel ECM to help with its defense. It once again possesses its partial wing system, and completely discards almost everything else the 2N has. Once more, it has 2 ER medium lasers mounted in the left arm, and now a third one mounted in the head. It also has a tag in order to help it mark targets. And then, and I barely know how I'm going to say this, it has 24 Rocket 10 launchers, which means in a single turn, if needed, it can just fire 240 rockets at a target once. Yeah, it just deletes a target, especially if that target's had its armor opened up. What a strange and wonderful design. It just has absolutely no sustainability. The Eris is a battlemech that has seen its share of warfare despite its relatively recent addition to the setting. It is a veteran of the Free Worlds League's warring period after the removal and chaos around Thomas Marik and Thomas Heiress. It is a machine which has been tested in the wars against the Lyran Commonwealth and clan invaders. It's amusing that this effective, powerful 50-ton battlemech has been turned on its former intended home state, and has provided the Free Worlds League with the medium mech it needs to fight the kinds of wars that have arrived in the 32nd century. As of the writing of this script, the Eris is a war machine which is on the front lines of the Inner Sphere, battling against the state most associated with the new Ilclan, as a part of one of the only 2 states doing so. The Free Worlds League stumbled upon the Heiress, but now it is their agent of chaos. In, ironically, one of the most historically dysfunctional states in the Inner Sphere. The irony is not wholly lost on me. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I do updates very frequently, and you'll be happy with the content, I think. Also, a huge thank you to all the YouTube members for this channel. When you hit the join button and become a member, you take an extra step in supporting the content on this channel, and I can't thank you enough. Because this content really is only possible because of viewers like you. And with that, I will see you all in the comment section below.